I'm quiet. I'm an introvert. Yet I've been able to make over £11,800,000 in online sales alone in the past couple of years. And not only that, but I've helped over 1,000 personal trainers or just fitness enthusiasts be able to quit their jobs, go fully online, travel, and run really profitable online fitness coaching businesses. How? Well, getting really good at the one thing that us Brits hate, sales. And if you're watching this and you're already doing maybe 3K a month, 4K a month, 5K a month, something like that, good on you, give yourself a pat on the back. But the thing that's going to get you to 10K, 15K, 20K is getting world-class at your sales process. And by the way, I'm the guy that obsesses over delivery. I'm the guy that stays up at night if my clients don't get results. I'm the guy that had fitness clients in my previous business stay for more than 5 years, and having current mentoring students stay with me in my current business for, again, more than 5 years. So to be clear, I love delivery. I think that delivery and being a great coach and being great at what you do is essential. But whether you like it or not, getting great at sales really is an essential in business and not a luxury. Now, if you want a complete A to Z of exactly what to do throughout your sales call process, I've previously shot a video that covers literally the start of the call, the middle of the call, the end of the call, word for word, what to do, what to say in a previous video, and I'll drop that in the description below as a link that you can go and check out. But what I'm going to cover in this video are 5 things that I just don't see enough people doing. They are so overlooked, but they're so simple, and they will make you a shed load of money. They are things that your competitors aren't even doing. The crazy thing is that they're all really simple, but when combined, I've seen coaches take their average sales closing rate percentage from 40% to 80%. So with every 10 people that somebody would speak to, they've gone from only 4 of them signing up to now 8 of them. Imagine what that does to your income and your bottom line. So go grab pen and paper, note down every single one of these 5 things, and then implement it immediately afterwards. Number 1 is getting your prospects to the call. Now this might sound really basic, but so many people miss out on this and they lose people in between booking the call and the call taking place. If you can work on this and you can get at least 80% of your booked calls to actually make it to the call, your business changes. Here are 3 things that you can do straight away to improve this. Number 1, when sending somebody your Calendly link, make sure that it's limited to no more than around 3 days in advance. Basically, don't have it wide open indefinitely. If you do this, people will book a call, in a week's time, 10 days time, and the chance of them showing up drops drastically. So try and have somebody book a call with you within 24 to 72 hours. The second thing is once somebody has booked a call, they should automatically be redirected to a bit of a confirmation/thank you page. On this page, you can add in some social proof, you can cover objections that they might have, you can, put their mind at ease and let them know exactly what you're gonna run through on the call and show them that they're actually gonna get value from it, so that there's a higher chance of them showing up to the call versus getting to the day of it, getting overwhelmed and talking themselves out of turning up. And the final thing would just be a super simple voice note the morning of the call or the night before the call. And this would just be like, hey, so-and-so, super excited to speak with you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Just want to quickly make sure that you've got the Zoom link. What this does is it helps to just lower any intimidation that they might have, If they're following you on Instagram, they might be putting you up on a pedestal and they might think you're going to try and hard sell them. Having just a really short, friendly, approachable voice note from you can really just put their mind at ease. Number 2 is your camera, your mic, and your connection. Again, nobody ever seems to put thought into this. And when I'm critiquing people's sales calls, they're really fuzzy, the connection's really laggy, it sounds like the person's underwater, like it's just not a great experience. What you've got to think about is you are trying to sell somebody on big change and transformation. You're trying to get somebody to really open up to you and let you know why they're on that call and ultimately like what they want to achieve and so on. So we already have a screen between, the two of you. We want to make that as to disappear as much as possible and for it to feel as though you are as, next to each other and in the same room as we possibly can in an online world. So the easiest way to do things is pay attention to your camera quality. Now, the number 1 thing that fixes most camera issues is actually just lighting. The worst thing that you can do is have your back to a window and have the camera facing it because you'll just be this weird shadow to them. So always make sure that you've got a light source facing at you. That'd be number 1. Number 2 is as the business grows, perhaps invest into, a proper camera like what I've got or even just a webcam. So that'd be the camera side of things. Next up is also think about what's in the frame. So I was auditing one of my students' calls the other day, and it's just little things like on the back of his bedroom door, having like a dressing gown hanging off of it, There was like a chest of drawers in the background that were open. You could see some sort of clothes ruffled on it, sorry. It sounds really petty, but these things matter. You know, depending on the type of person that's turning up to this call with you, they're looking at your background as like your office. You're meant to be a professional. So you don't need some really fancy background. In fact, it's killing me because I'm meant to be in my office upstairs, but the air conditioning is broken. Hence, I'm in my living room. But I just make sure that everything behind me is kind of meant to be there, and it's there as just a bit of a visual stimulus. So even if you don't have anything fancy, just having like a plain white wall or something is great. Just make sure there's no clutter in the background. So a good light source, perhaps a camera. Make sure that whatever is in your frame in that window is there by design, and you're okay with everything being there. The next thing, of course, would be your audio quality. So most laptops nowadays and phones have really good cameras on them, just inbuilt, but the microphones are still lacking, and there's usually like some static noise and so on. So if possible, just get a little microphone, whether it's like the desk mounted ones that you'll see, whether it's like a wireless one or a clip-on or whatever. Just take the time to get some form of external mic to sharpen the audio quality. A bigger difference than you would imagine. And then the final one would be your internet connection, which again, nobody ever considers. What I'd like you to do after this video is, if you've got that pen and paper and you're taking notes like I mentioned a second ago, just write down fast.com. So fast.com. After this video, just go to Google, whatever, fast.com, and check your connection speed. You really need it to be above 100 megabytes per second if you want to have like crystal clear Zoom calls. If you're at like 20, 30, 40 megabytes per second, you're going to be sort of cutting in and out, your audio is not going to be great, and I would really look to fix that. Okay, number 3 would be a proper discovery phase. Now, what I mean by this is the call should be broken down into a few areas, okay? So we have like the opening of the call, the framing, positioning, mapping it out. We have discovery, we have like permission to pitch, we have pitch 1, pitch 2, there's different parts of the sales call you can check out in the other video that I mentioned. Just know that the discovery phase is the bit where you are asking them questions and you're wanting to build up like a bit of a picture as to their world. The problem that I see is most coaches are just surface level. It's like, oh, so why are we on this call today? Oh, so what do you want to achieve? Yeah, you just want to tone up a little bit. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, so do most of my clients, blah, 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 blah. Oh, if you fall on a diet at the moment, no, got it, no worries. Okay, well, would you like me to run you through how I work? It's so surface level. You're not creating any need for your coaching. You're not creating any urgency for somebody to start with you. So the first thing to do would be this bit here. You want to make sure that you've quantified their goals. They say, I just want to lose weight and tone up a little bit. Push them on it. Got it. Totally on board. Listen, can you think of a time previously where you felt like you were in that great shape? When you looked in the mirror, you put clothes on, you felt your most confident. Yeah, actually, it was back when I was a size 10. Got it. So do you think if we were able to slowly get you back towards that size 10, that you would start to feel a bit more how you used to, and you'd have that sort of confidence, you'd like to, you feel more confident when you put a dress on? Yes, got it. So roughly, if you don't mind me asking, like where are we sitting at the moment? How far away are we from it? So that's the first thing, you want to quantify that. The second thing is, once we've done that, it's like, okay, if you don't mind me asking, like what changes when we get you back there? So ultimately, why are you doing this? Like you could just stay exactly as you are, but it feels to me like this change is really important to you. And you're able to mention that size 10 quite quickly, almost like you've been thinking about it for a while. So let's say that we got you to a size 10. What actually changes for you? And then allow them to expand on that and just go a layer or two deeper than what you would usually go to. The next thing that I would do would be like, okay, so how long have you been trying this to get back to this size 10 and what have you tried so far? And then allow them to say, I've been trying it for the last 4 years, I've tried this, I've tried this. Okay, so kind of exhausted a lot of options. Like kudos to you, I can see that you're really serious about this and you just haven't quite found the right thing yet. Am I right with that? Yes. So you're really serious about making this change, you just haven't found the right vehicle for you and you're almost at a bit of a loss because you've tried everything over the past 4 years. Yes. This is what starts to create the urgency. And then the final thing would just the consequence. Now, this is an optional question that you might want to ask, might not. If I bring this one up, I'll typically just, in a jokey way, I'll just be like, listen, I'm going to ask you a bit of a cliched question. But if we fast forward like a year from now, 2 years from now, let's say that you're still not trending towards, that size 10. Let's say that either you remain exactly as you are, or perhaps we even go the opposite direction and we creep up maybe another dress size or so. What does that look like? How does that feel like? and then allow them to elaborate on that. So there's a way that you frame that. A lot of people will just be like, oh, so what happens if nothing changes? And it's such a cliched sales question. So there's nuance in how you would ask that. But hopefully, just by me running through these little questions here for you, you can already see exactly what you are missing out on in your own discovery process on your sales calls. Now, the other thing here is we want to try and pre-handle objections. So I am not the sort of business coach or sales trainer or whatever that tries to teach you any fancy ninja objection handling tactics. Ideally, we want to have handled and crossed off all of that during the discovery phase of the call and before you even get to doing it on the pitch. Otherwise, you're already on the back foot. So what you want to try and do on your sales call in the discovery phase is you want to try and cross off any potential objections that you'll typically see. Now, the most common as a fitness coach online would either be time or partner. So it would either be somebody getting to the end of the call and going, this all sounds great, but I just don't know if I'm going to have the time to really commit to this right now. And then straight away, you're on the back foot. The other, of course, is that they're like, okay, this sounds good. Yep. It's a bit more than I was thinking. If you wouldn't mind, I'm just going to go and speak to my partner about it. So instead, what we want to try and do during the discovery phase is just uncover these bits. So if you dig in and you're like, oh, so what have you been up to this week? And then they start talking about their work. Later on in the discovery phase, you'll bring back their work and say, oh, and I remember you mentioned that you're a teacher, right? How long have you been doing that? I've been doing it for 6 years. Oh, what are the hours like? Is it as good as everybody says with, the 6-week holidays and this? And allow them to start going, no, because what they don't see is during term time, we have to be in before the students, we have prep work to do afterwards and so on. Got it. Wow, yeah, I didn't even think of that. So you sound pretty busy. Yeah. I'm curious, when are you going to have the time? Like, when do you feel that you'll be able to fit your training sessions in, for example? Oh, no, I prefer getting up early. Like, I'm happy going to the gym at 6 a.m., whatever. Got it. How about like food prep, stuff like that? Like, will you be able to do it in the evenings? Are you going to have some time there? Or is it going to be a bit of a thing that you'll do over the weekends? I'm just asking these questions because, the clients that tend to get the best results, they're able to allocate around 3 to 4 hours per week to this process. So I just want to make sure that you would definitely be able to do that and that, we don't have a sudden surprise when you get coaching that actually is, you're not able to fit this in. And what we're looking for is for them to just absolutely justify it and go, no, I'll make the time for it. I've already thought about this, I planned it, I'm going to train in the mornings, I'm going to meal prep, every evening before bed. I've done this before, blah, 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 blah. And what that allows us to do is to go, amazing, I can now scratch off time because that's not going to become an objection at the end of the call. The second one that I mentioned that's typically a common one if you're doing fitness coaching, especially if you train female clients, is partner. So again, during your discovery phase, they might mention that they've got kids or they might mention, their partner or something. And at that point, I would just either loop back to it and be like, oh, and by the way, if you don't mind me asking, I think you mentioned your partner earlier, John. Curious, does he know that you and I are on this call? Oh, yeah, he was actually the one that sent me your Instagram account. Actually, he was on Instagram scrolling and he read something and sent it to me saying, oh, go check this out. Oh, amazing, I love that. Is he supportive of everything? Yeah. He's been trying, we're actually doing this thing together. He really wants to get in shape as well. We go on holiday in 6 months and we both said that this is finally the holiday that we both want to get in shape for. Okay, so he'd be totally cool, with you having a coach, helping you through this. He'll be supportive with sort of allowing you, going to the gym and perhaps even eating similar meals in the evenings and so on. Yeah, got it. Man, I wish most of my clients had partners like John. I speak to women all the time that are desperate to make change, but when they get to the end of the call, of course, they have to run it by their husband, and their husband sort of perhaps doubts the process or doesn't want their partner investing this into themselves. So it's kind of refreshing to speak to somebody like you that's actually got that partner on board that seems fired up to do this with you. So again, you can see by doing this that we've now scratched off this and this. They're not going to suddenly get to the end of the call and say, I don't think my partner's going to want me to do this. I need to go run it by him. Oh, I don't think I'm going to have time for this, because you've covered it during the discovery. So the takeaways here is number one, make sure you go a layer deeper, stop the kind of superficial surface level discovery. And then the second is to just try and cross off any objections that you typically see at the end of the call. Try and cover them during the discovery phase and handle them there versus being on the back foot at the end of the call. Number four, the temp check. So once we have done our discovery, We've got permission to run through how our program works. We've spoken through the philosophy, the deliverables, and so on. Before we move into price, we want to just do a final thing of any questions at this point? No. How does everything sound? Sounds great. Perfect. The question I always like to ask is, just give me a rough scale of 1 to 10 here. So 10 would be like, oh my God, where has this program been all my life? 1 is, this is a complete waste of my time. My finger is hovering over that leave meeting button in the corner. And then you turn it into a bit of a joke. What we're looking for is for the person on the sales call to say, I'm at least an 8, 9, 10. In which case you'd be like, amazing, I love that. Listen, anything missing from the program, anything that you're kind of just sat there a bit like, oh, this all sounds great, but I was really hoping that this would be included. And you're looking for them to, of course, say, no, I think you cover everything. Great. So you've temp checked them, they're at an 8, 9, 10. You would then move into, would you like me to run you through how the investment works? If they temp check and they give you like a 6 or a 7, then we want to not proceed to the investment, and instead we want to deal with that and go, oh, okay, got it. I'm going to be honest with you, like from my side, working with you would feel like a bit of a home run. You're really my ideal client, you know? What do you think is holding you back, you know, from being like an 8 or a 9 and instead being a 6? What specifically is kind of missing from the program? And then allow them to kind of divulge that, go into it, deal with that, and then you can loop back around and then move into the investment phase. All right, so the final part of the 5, so number 5 of 5, is the 2 call close. Again, this is just massively underused. So I have a rule, you know, with my sales team that somebody gets to the end of the call, they are either in, so they're like, this is amazing, it's within budget, I'm gonna go for this option, let's get started now. Or they give us a, dude, this is just not what I'm looking for. I realize actually, I wanna be on the gym floor. I don't want an online coaching business, or whatever it may be, just a firm out. If we get anything other than in or out, then we have to get a second call booked in. Whether it's that they wanna speak to their partner, whether it's that they wanna reevaluate their finances, whether it's that they wanna speak to some competitors or speak to some of our students, whatever it might be, we'll be like, listen, totally get it, no worries. I want us to be in alignment. You know, I don't want to feel like you're being forced into anything here. Why don't we do this? Are you free tomorrow at around the same time? Yes, perfect. Listen, why don't we just jump back on tomorrow, 10, 15 minutes? It allows you to go away and have a think about it, speak to anybody that you need to speak to. What I'm gonna do in the meantime is I'm gonna come up with a bit of a case study. I'm gonna have a think about a client that's been in the exact same sort of starting position as you. And then I'm gonna come to the call tomorrow prepped with like almost like a bit of a roadmap as to what I did with that client and how they got there. I think you're gonna get like a load of value from that. Does that sound good? Yes, perfect. Okay, I'll shoot you a quick Zoom link and then I'll catch you tomorrow same time. Of course, if you've got any questions when you get after this, just shoot me a message and I'll get that covered. But listen, it's been amazing speaking to you, and I'm really confident we're gonna get you back to that size 10 that we discussed earlier. No problem at all. And then obviously you'll book that in. And so there you have it. 5 things that are massively overlooked. So we've covered getting people to the call and not allowing people to slip through the cracks. That just sabotages your income. Next up is focusing on your internet connection, your camera quality, your audio quality, and making sure that you're just putting your best foot forwards for this first meeting with the person. The third thing, of course, is running a proper discovery phase. So getting deeper as to, you know, why do they want to do this? What changes for them? What's the negative if they stay the same? All of these sorts of things. And then trying to box off any potential objections that might come up. We want to make sure we nail that in that discovery phase. Fourth thing, of course, was the temp check. That before we even get to the price, we want to find out and make sure that they're at least an 8, a 9, or a 10 on the process itself. And then the final thing is, if we don't have a yes, I'm in, I'm doing this now, or a no, I do not want to go ahead with this, anything else needs to have a second call on the calendar. And then you're going to nurture them and send them some social proof in between, get them on that second call a day or two later, and then that's where you'll be able to get them signed up. Now, if you're still watching, I'm going to guess that you are probably not doing any of these 5 properly. Maybe perhaps one of them you're doing, but there's probably at least 3 or 4 of them that you just know that you are missing out on, whether it's the camera quality, the call nurturing, whatever it may be. So your big job is just to go and action these over the next 7 days, tick off all 5 of these so that your sales process starts to become bulletproof. And if any of it sounds a bit overwhelming and you just want my team and I just to roll up our sleeves and just do this for you and do it with you, then in the description below, there's like a little training that you can go and watch. Go check it out. And after you've watched the training, if you want to jump on and speak to myself and my team, just head to the link, follow the steps, and we'd love to help you out and help build this coaching business of yours.